Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and remember, Context is Everything Media Network founder and CEO John Michael is reading another textbook, cover to cover. Today, this textbook is the the American history textbook from 1940. The year 1940 is when this book was made, and this section today is entitled New France, Robert de la Salle. French adventurer Robert de la Salle was born in France. He was well educated in the Jesuit college. Robert de la Salle was a clever fellow, but he was restless. Stories about New France especially attracted him. Canada. He came to Montreal as a young man, ready to try his luck in the new land. La Salle settled on a farm in the island of Montreal. I didn't realize it was an island. He was too restless to be satisfied with the quiet, uneventful life of a farmer. The stories which the Indians told him about the land to the west appealed to him. He sold his farm and decided to go on a journey of discovery. The Great Plain. The country through which he traveled gave La Salle several ideas. One idea was that it should be easy to build up the fur trade of this part of the country. He expected to become rich by selling furs. The fur trade would also help to his native land, France. La Salle felt that as soon as the English learned of the money to be made in the fur trade, they too would send traders into the region. Most Frenchmen felt keenly the rivalry between England and France. Robert de la Salle was a thoughtful man. He thought out a plan to strengthen the claims of France in the Mississippi Valley. He believed that it would be wise for the French to build a chain of forts along the Mississippi. He felt that a strong fort should be built at the mouth and outlet of the river. He was sure that if the plan was carried out, France would control almost all of North America. France would then be powerful. At this time, the English settlements were only along the Atlantic coast. All of the English settlements were east of the Appalachian Mountains. The English were not as yet very powerful in America. La Salle thought that it would be well to keep the English east of the mountains. This would help to check their power in North America. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was a moment where the French said, maybe all of this can be ours, by kind of planning to take the Mississippi River. See, if they took the Mississippi River, it would kind of landlock here. This is the east coast, the mountains, Appalachian Mountains, and then you have the river, or this one, I don't know. It's probably this one. If France were to get that, then they would kind of be able to bottle off the English here, which would have probably been a good idea. Thank you. Getting the king's approval. La Salle felt that his plan was a wise one for France to follow. So he decided to go back to France and explain his plan to the king. The king listened to La Salle's plans and granted his requests. When this clever man left France, he had the king's permission to do 4 things. This is something I like about this book. I like they say 3 things, 4 things, and then they list them out subsequently. 1, he had permission to explore the wilderness of New France. The wilderness was the unsettled regions. 2, he was to explore the outlet of the Father of Waters, the Mississippi, as the Mississippi River was called from the natives. And 3, he had permission to trade Indians for furs, with Indians for furs. And 4, he had the permission to build a chain of forts. These forts would serve as fur traders, as places to store furs. Best of all, the forts would protect France from its rivals of England and Spain. These 3 nations were bitter enemies. They were each struggling for wealth and power. The exploring party. Next, the exploring party. The next step was to get back to New France. La Salle was eager to put his plans into action, so he hastened back to America. A good exploring party had to be organized. La Salle selected some trained backwoodsmen to go with him. Forests which have not been cleared are called backwoods. There were no settlements near the backwoods. That is why men who lived in the region far from settlements were called backwoodsmen. Robert de La Salle was wise to have the backwoodsmen in the party. These men knew the wilderness region through which the exploring party was to travel. Backwoodsmen usually knew how to get along with the Indians. A Franciscan missionary, Father Louis Hennepin, was a member of the exploring party. Father Hennepin became a discoverer in his own right. He is credited with the discovery of the Niagara Falls. One time, Father Hennepin and 2 companions left La Salle's party for a while. They went up to the Mississippi on an exploring trip. They thought they would follow the river to its source. The place where a river begins is called its source. Father Hennepin and his companions came to a waterfall in the Mississippi River. The Franciscan explorer named it the Falls of St. Anthony. This was in honor of St. Anthony of Padua. The Falls of St. Anthony is one of the reasons why the city of Minneapolis is today the world's greatest flour milling center. Today meaning 1940. 40. The Falls of St. Anthony is one of the reasons why the city of Minneapolis is today the world's greatest flour milling center, 1940. Trip to the Mississippi. Robert La Salle made 2 attempts to explore the Mississippi River. The second time, his efforts were successful. A small party of French and a few Indians accompanied La Salle on his journey. They paddled along the birch bark canoes. At last, they reached the mouth of the great river, claiming the land. The explorer claimed all the land drained by the Mississippi River for France. Thus, the great valley in the heart of the continent became French possession. La Salle named the land Louisiana. He did this in honor of Louis XIV, the King of France. The act was taking possession. Okay, so Louis XIV is why it's Louisiana. Not bad. The act of taking possession of the land was very solemn. A great wooden cross was set on the ground. A wooden stake was erected. One of the kettles was used to make a plate bearing the king's arms. Nobles and persons of high rank often used pictures and designs on their shields. This was spoken of as a coat of arms. The metal plate where the king's coat of arms was fastened to the stake. This was a sign that the land had been claimed for France, and the year was 1682 when La Salle claimed Mississippi Valley for France. God bless. Goodbye. And hello.